Hello, this is Paul in Las Vegas here with Hot Bets, Baseball Analytics, and Hitting Analysis, and diving into the games today, analyzing six of them. Present this information to you. Going to have a pick on one of those games for today, and just some ways that I'm leaning on some of the others, but only one of these that I'm going to make a pick. And basically all of them except one of them go off before 4:30. So I wanted to get this video out there. And basically, without further ado, the Reds are playing the Marlins, and this game has the lowest total on the game. Had a 7.5 total number. So they only expected 7.5 runs in this game. And the Reds have been 4-12 away. 4-6 in their last 10 games. They're playing the Marlins, who are 10-9 at home, and also 4-6 in their last 10 games. And the Reds have scored 6 runs in their last 2 games. Marlins have scored 11 runs in their last 2 games. Reds have scored 17 runs in their last 4 games. The Marlins, on the other hand, have scored 15 runs in their last 4 games. And there is a 13.9 mile an hour wind, according to covers.com, which is blowing out. And so you might ask why. Well, why is this game? Why is the under favored? And you might see a little bit of that with the 17 runs, 15 runs in the last 4 games. So each team's 4 runs a game. Well, actually, the Reds are just a little bit over that. So they're at exactly 4 runs a game, really, with the average. But the 2 pitchers, this is why. For the Reds, first off, there's Graham, Department of Homeland Security, Ashcraft. And he has basically, he started the year on fire. His first 6 games this year, he only gave up runs. So that's basically 1 1/3 runs a game through his first 6 games. Then in his last game against the White Sox, they hit him hard. And he gave up 8 runs, and he didn't make it 2 innings in that game. And they hit the ball so hard that one of the hits hit him and hurt him. But he was due to get hit. He was basically due for that. I think he's going to bounce back. I think he's going to have a good game. He may not, but I think he was just due to get hit, and he faced a good hitting team, and maybe he didn't have his stuff, or his arm. Maybe his arm didn't feel good or something. Now, he is up against a prized prospect, Yuri Perez, who is making his major league debut. And Yuri Perez is 6'8". He's 220 pounds. He is 20 years old. He's from the Dominican Republic. And according to the baseballcube.com, and that's one of the sites I like, the baseballcube.com. Let me tell you a little bit about that site. When these pitchers come up from the minors, it is often hard to find all their minor league stats. They might have pitched in single A, they might have pitched in double A, they might have pitched in triple A. Those are the 3 levels of minors, triple A being the highest. So their stats may be all over the place. And you may only, if you look up their stats, you may only get their A stats or their double A stats or their triple A stats. But the baseballcube.com has all of the pitcher statistics in the minors in one place. And it has their major league stats, if they played any in the majors, also in that same place, all on one site. So it's easy to see and access. And it shows you things like the opposing batting average, how many strikeouts per innings, even shows you the type of pitches and the percentage that the pitcher throws those pitches. So the Baseball Cube is really an outstanding site. And it's great for looking up the statistics on the pitchers who are pitching their first time in the big leagues. So a lot of people in the casinos, in the sports books, They see a pitcher, they may not recognize the pitcher's name. The pitcher may be up from the minors. He doesn't have any statistics yet, and they may throw that game out and just basically that they don't want to play it. There's the book can't give them a sheet with the statistics for that pitcher. But that site, thebaseballcube.com, it's extremely good for seeing all the information you might want on a rookie, a pitcher, or a pitcher making their first start, or even somebody who's coming back from the minors. Maybe somebody had to polish up, go back to the minors. You can see how they pitched in the minors. So for anything involving minor league statistics and having it all in one place, the statistics at the different levels of the minors, thebaseballcube.com is really a superior site and a great resource. Now, so basically, I don't have really a pick on that game. I think both pitchers probably will pitch well. Is it going to go under 7.5? I don't know. Suppose Ashcraft has another bad game. Suppose the 13.9 mile an hour wind factors in. Suppose Yuri Perez has jitters, being it's his first major league game. So I don't want to make any call on this game. It should be an interesting game to see what happens. The next game I want to take a look at is the Mariners versus the Tigers. And with the Mariners, you have runs scored of 3 and 5 in their last 2 games. And the Tigers, you have 5 runs and 0 runs in their last 2 games. So over the last 2 games, the Mariners have scored more runs. But if you look at the last 4 games, the situation is the reverse. The Mariners have scored 12 runs in their last 4 games. The Tigers have scored 17 runs in their last 4 games. And the Tigers on the overnight line were a plus 110. They're the dog in this game. Mariners were showing at minus 120 on the overnight line, the printed overnight line. Now, on the mound for these two teams, let me go into the record of these two teams recently, too. Mariners were 7-3 in their last 10 games. With the 8-7, they have an 8-7 away record. The Tigers, on the other hand, have the same record at home, and they are also 7-3 in their last 10 games. So these two first games, both teams have the same record in their last 10 games. That popped out at me when I looked at this. Basically, the pitchers for these two teams, you have 2 lefties going against each other. For the Mariners, you have Marco Gonzalez on the mound. He is 2-0 with a 4.70 ERA and a 1.47 ratio, 30 innings, 23 strikeouts. The last 2 games, he has not pitched very well. But they were against good hitting teams, Toronto and Houston. On the road this year, and he's on the road today, he has an opposing batting average of 310. So he has been hit hard when he's been on the road. The 2 games versus the Tigers last year, he had a 4.15 ERA and a 2.83 opposing batting average. Now, on the mound for the Tigers is Matthew Boyd. He is 2-2 with a 5.28 ERA and a 1.34 ratio. He has a 6.46 ERA at home. But in 3 starts in 2021, he had I basically I'm not okay. That was having a little bit of trouble analyzing my notes here. I am seeing that he had 6 innings of shutout against Seattle, though. So that's one thing possibly in his favor, but I don't like this game anyway. If maybe there's a little bit of value in the Tigers. They've scored more runs in the last 4 games, and Matthew Boyd has that little bit of success against Seattle, but I wouldn't really mess with this game. The Mets versus the Nationals is the next game. And this game I have a side that I like, but it's not my pick of the day. The Mets, their last 2 games, they have scored 0 runs and 2 runs. The last 4 games, they have scored 6 runs and 6 runs added to that. So 14 runs in the last 4 games. The Nationals, on the other hand, have scored 12 runs as compared to the Mets' 2 runs in the last 2 games. 26 runs as compared to the Mets' 14 runs in the last 4 games. The Mets are 3-7 in their last 10 games. They're 11-12 away for the year. They've lost 4 of their last 5 games. The Nationals are 16-21 this year. They're 3-16 at home, but they have won 6 of their last 10 games. And the pitcher for the Mets, Tyler McGill, he has not been pitching that well lately. He has had too many walks in each of his last 3 starts, 3, 5, and 4, respectively. And he has pitched 35 innings, 27 strikeouts. He's 3-2 with a 4.33 ERA, 1.50 ratio, opposing batting average of 261. And basically, he's been 5.79 ERA away in 3 games. And the Nationals had his number last year. He had 3 games against the Nationals. He gave up an ERA of 8.64 and an opposing batting average of 3.71. So the Nationals are like basically they are his nightmare. And the Nationals come in having scored 6 times more runs in the last 2 games and almost twice as many runs in the last 4 games. The Nationals are the underdog, plus 115. And the Nationals also have Mackenzie Gore on the mound, who is 3-2 with the 3.65 ERA, a 1.43 ratio, a 2.46 opposing batting average. The last 2 games, he has not pitched well. His ERA rose from 3 to 3.65. But in 1 game against the Mets last year, he had a 1.50 ERA and an opposing batting average of 1.74. I'm sorry, that game was this year, that game against the Mets. He did not face the Mets last year. So he pitched great against the Mets this year. That's even better. So basically, I do like the Nationals, but it's not my pick of the day. Now, the next game, the Pirates versus the Orioles. The Pirates are 11-8 in their away games, 1-9 in their last 10 games. The Orioles plus 140 for this game. The Orioles, they are minus 165. They are 11-5 at home, and they have won 2 in a row. They are 6-4 in their last 10 games. For the runs scored, the Pirates have 4 runs scored in the last 2 games, 16 runs in the last 4 games. The Orioles have 7 runs in the last 2 games and 8 runs in the last 4 games. So if you look at the last 4 games, the Pirates have scored twice as many runs as the Orioles. And basically, they are a dog despite this. Plus 140 was the listed line on the Pirates last night. So, again, it's not my pick of the day, but I kind of like the Pirates in this game. Let's look at the pitching. We have pitching for the Pirates, Johan Darth Oviedo, who is 25 years old. He's 2-3. He's got a 5.59 ERA, a 1.62 ratio. The latest first, he's given up 6 runs, 7 runs, and 4 runs in his last 3 starts. None of that's great. He has basically a 288 opposing batting average. The other side pitching is Kyle Growing Bradish. He is 26 years old. He has a 5.95 ERA and a 1.73 ratio, an opposing batting average of 309. And he did not make it out of the third inning in his last start. So here we have two pitchers that have not been doing well. Basically, I would go with the team that has been hitting better and expect the Pirates to break out of this 9 losses in their last 10 games. I usually don't like calling an end to a streak like that. They are facing, though, a pitcher who has not had success, and these are the 2 surprise teams so far this year, 2 of the biggest surprise teams, arguably the 2 biggest surprise teams, the Pirates and the Orioles, where they both began winning. And prior to this 10-game stretch of bad games, the Pirates were among the top teams in baseball for this year, all completely unexpected. So the Pirates were due to basically come down to earth a little and stop winning as many games as they were winning. So basically that's happened. And now they're trying to get out of this really basically a losing streak that's continuing. So I don't consider a losing streak as having been broken completely until the team has won 2 in a row. The next game, we have Rays versus the Yankees again. And the Rays have a 769 win percentage. The Yankees have a 538 win percentage. They're both in the same division, the American League East. And the Yankees are 9 games back from the Rays. The Rays have an 11-6 away record. They're 7-3 in the last 10 games. The Yankees, they are 6-4 in their last 10 games and 14-9 at home. The last 2 games, the Rays have scored 9 runs. The Yankees have scored 13 runs. The Rays have scored 14 runs in their last 4 games. The Yankees have scored 30 runs in their last 4 games. Pitching for these 2 games, we have Trevor Kelly for the Rays. He has a 250 opposing batting average. He's 30 years old. He has pitched only 2 innings this year. He has a 9 ERA, a 1.50 ratio. In 2022, he pitched 22 innings. And other than that, he does not have a year that he pitched double-digit innings for the year. In 2019 and 2020, he had less than 10 innings. 2021, he was out, not pitching. And he is going against Garrett Cole, who is having an outstanding year for the Yankees. Garrett Cole is 5-0 with a 2.09 ERA. He has 51 innings, 58 strikeouts. He is coming off a bad outing. He has a 1.01 ratio, which is outstanding. Opposing batters have hit only 197 against him, so they've been held under 200. He has a 0.82 home ERA. And let's check out his stats against Tampa. Well, he got hammered by Tampa his first time this year, but he had a 1.35 ERA prior to that. So he was basically due to get hit sooner or later. So it's hard to maintain an ERA that low for a pitcher. It's hard. There's usually some their arm gets tired, things like that happen. They come out and they don't have their stuff. So he had his bad game. Before games versus Tampa last year, he had a 1.07 ERA against Tampa and a 0.149. I'm sorry, so they only batted 0.149 was the opposing batting average. So their batting average was 149 against him, which is awful. So Garrett Cole had Tampa's number. Yes, Tampa hit him this year, but I don't think that it's going to happen twice. But this is not my game of the day, despite the fact that I like the Yankees and that I like Garrett Cole in that game, and basically think the Yankees are a good play. My play of the day is actually a game a little later, and this is the last game that I'm analyzing probably for the day because I have what I want. I have my good game here. That is my pick, and that is Rangers versus the Athletics. And my pick here is the Rangers. The Rangers have scored 8 runs in their last 2 games, 10 runs in their last 4 games. The Athletics have scored 3 runs in their last 2 games, 10 runs in their last 4 games. The Rangers are 11-8 away. They've won 2 in a row. They've won 5 of their last 6. The Athletics, on the other hand, are 3-16 at home, and they have lost 5 games in a row. Now, the pitching, the listed pitchers for this game, I practically made a Rocky movie for Zach Nelson with my video yesterday, and they didn't even pitch him. They decided to pitch somebody else. Athletic Nation, the website, had stated that Zach Neal would be the pitcher, and that was what they had been basically told. And it was listed at other places for Zach Neal to be the pitcher, and they ended up going with somebody else. And I think that was kind of a wimp-out move there, not starting Zach Neal when they had indicated as much as they did that they were going to start him. I was rooting for the guy to start and wanted to see what he was going to do. So I'm hoping that this carries into this game here with the Rangers playing well. The pitcher for the Rangers is Martin Perez. He is a lefty. He has a 4.91 ERA away, but he is 4-1 this year with a 3.86 ERA, 1.55 ratio. And he had a good game against the Yankees. Also, against Oakland last year, he had a 0.9 ERA. So he had an ERA that was under 1 against Oakland last year. And that was in 3 games against Oakland. So it wasn't like he just did it once against them. He did this. He had 3 good games where his combined ERA was under 1. And Oakland hit 143 against him. So that's really bad. Now, on the other hand, Oakland has a lefty going named Ken Waldichuk. And he is 1-2 with a 7.25 ERA and a 1.75 ratio. Last year, he had a 9 ERA versus Texas, and Texas batted .348 against him. So you have a team that batted .348 against the pitcher, and you have the other team that batted .143 against the pitcher. So this is my pick of the day. And that is it for today, May 12th, Friday. And I hope you have a good day. Thank you for listening this far. And please like, subscribe. Feel free to leave a comment. And have a great day. Thank you.